Alright, let me know if there are any issues, any improvements we could make. It was 70. Nice. And we've warmed back up too. I think it's supposed to get up to like 80 degrees sometime soon and then back down into the 40s. Like, that's ridiculous. Alright, here we go. Alright, Freaky Friday plays Dear Esther, the Landmark Edition. Alright, what do you think, chat? Should we do the director's commentary or not? I'm not sure if we can disable it. Maybe? Probably? So if it becomes too intrusive, we could turn it off? I don't know. I feel like first playthrough, maybe it's weird to do the director's commentary. I don't know. Nobody cares? Let's just do it without then, I guess. Personally, you go with that. I agree, Shepard. Let's go for that.
Dear Esther, I sometimes feel as if I've given birth to this island. Somewhere between the longitude and latitude, a split opened up, and it beached remotely here. No matter how hard I correlate, it remains a singularity, an alpha point in my life that refuses all hypothesis. I return each time leaving fresh markers that I hope, in the full glare of my hopelessness, will have blossomed into fresh insight in the interim.
I don't know how I feel about the subtitles. I actually turned them on. And actually I set them to large, which is too big, I think. So at the very least I want them small. Does anyone want the subtitles? Should we turn them off? Is it on video? Oh my god, can I not turn them off? Okay, here it is. Alright, does anyone vote yes for captions? Hey, Gorbald, how's it going? I'll leave them on for now. I've reduced the size, though. That was way too big. How you doing, Gorma? Hope you had a good week. You start the words exactly. Yeah, I forget what they said. The only reason I do it is sometimes I've I know some people, like maybe when they're watching, they might benefit from it. I've had people ask for it before. And since I don't have closed captioning, that's one way you could hear it. But, or you know what I mean. Know what's being said. Let's see. This is so like visual. Like maybe. We'll see. Just wait for your meds to kick in. Oh, so you can doze off for the night? I'll be sure to relax you. It's good to see you, Gorm. Alright, so how loud is the music? Really loud compared to me? As it stops, so you can't even compare it. It's been pretty good, thank you, Gorma. It's definitely better than last week. Oh, it's all good. Welcome back, Val. Alright. Alright, so I don't know how much searching we need to do. I do know there's like little secret notes and shit to find. I don't know how adventuresome we need to be. Subtitles, yes or no? Game does seem a bit loud. Okay, it is a tad loud. All right, cool. Thank you. All right, options. So, I want to say originally I put it at 50 when I was messing around. It seemed too dramatic, and I ended up turning it back up all the way. All right, so let's try 75-ish. See how that is. Still loud, isn't it? Let's go 50. We'll go 60. Alright, then we'll see when he starts talking. Let's see what we can do here. Oh no, we're gonna die! Oh, we can swim. Oh, we can swim. Okay, I have a confession. I did peek at the achievements, and I saw there were 2 secret achievements, and I know what they are. So let's get one of them out of the way right now. See if we can find the bottom. It's down here. Actually, let's find out how long we can stay down. Can I get back up?
Come back.
There, we got it. What is it called? Cyanide? Is that... What does that mean? So we just drowned. So there's an achievement for drowning, and then there's an achievement for falling off a cliff to your death. So we just got one of them out of the way. I decided to do that recently. I thought about, like, I hate how I keep missing achievements that I could have gotten had I known. So I'm going to start maybe making it a habit of looking at the achievements before I play. So at least I have some idea of what I'm looking for. Don't have to replay an entire game. Alright, I guess we'll go in here. I know I want to, like, walk the perimeter there. Like, is a water spirit. Pronounced Shoni. Okay. Is that Celtic? That sort of sounds like an Irish word. Which is a little coincidental, considering the conversation we were having earlier. That sounds like the kind of word that Enya, Lisa Gerrard, or Elizabeth Fraser would use. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if they have, if at least one of those 3 has a song, either by that title or with that word in the song. It is Celtic. Interesting. Hey, Sataki, how's it going? Good to see you. Hope you had a good week. All right. Or what was Enya's sister? Is in shit. What band is that? That Irish band. It's been around forever. Like, Enya was actually in it as a teenager. I think it's a family band. Fuck. What is? I just totally blanked it. Clannad. Yeah, Clannad. Which is like an Irish folk ensemble. I'm doing good, thank you. There's nothing to find in here? I'm skeptical. Surely I missed something. What's that? Can I interact with things? It's not giving me any instructions. Keyboard, mouse, keys. All right. That's it, huh? There's no interact. There's no, like, Okay. You remember Clannad? Yeah. Forget her sister's name, but that's the main singer is Enya's older sister, I think. Yeah, I played some Cocteau Twins before the stream. And I was talking about how Elizabeth Fraser of the Cocteau Twins and Lisa Gerrard of Dead Can Dance and Enya were all vocalists for Lord of the Rings. I guess there's... It's just surprising you'd think that there would be something in here. Although there was that picture. One of the achievements is to find all of the audio logs, I think is what they were called. Alright, where do we go? I'll go to the lighthouse. How do I get there? Right. Yeah. So, okay, it is. We just don't have stairs. Alright, let's go. And what is this? So that is 2 carbons, 4 or 5 hydrogens, and what is that? That's hydroxide, right? Hydrogen and 1 hydrogen and an oxygen. 2 would be water, and that's, I forget. I want to say hydroxide, but I don't know. Just poly. Hey, hard hit. How's it going? Sorry, I just didn't realize. Hi. Sorry. There's so many. I have to. There's so many like purples and purplishes. I'm sorry. Sometimes I'm terrible at my job. Apparently. It's good to see you. Hope you had a good week. All right. That is weird though. Why would that be there? What is the meaning behind that? That is a what hydrocarbon is that? And there was nothing in the boat either, which totally seems surprising. It's very easy to see. It was pretty good. It's better than last week, that's for sure. So what do you... So it's giving us no direction where to go. Let's just walk this area first. It looks like it ends up here. Yeah, I have water and electricity. Or could you ask? This is going to be a dangerous game for me. It's going to take me like 5 hours to finish it.
There was once talk of a wind farm out here, away from the rage and the intolerance of the masses. The sea, they said, is too rough for the turbines to stand. They clearly never came here to experience the becalming for themselves. Personally, I would have supported it. Turbines would be a fitting contemporary refuge for a hermit. The revolution and the permanence.
Sure, Shepard, what is it? Gorman, you're so rude. Not. Can't jump. So I guess we just move into an area and it triggers those audio. It's like I'm just holding shift down and it doesn't even do anything. I'm just like, faster! I'm trying. Ah. Excellent. Ethanol or alcohol. That would be, would have been a good guess. I did know it was a hydrocarbon, though. I did get that part right on the test. Of all, though, that should be one to know. What the hell is this? In my defense, it's been a few decades. Many decades since I took chemistry. I was actually looking at the chemical description of WD-40 before the stream, which is an interesting coincidence. But it's, did you know WD-40, the form, they never patented it.
I found myself to be as featureless
It's a
as
secret
this
formula.
ocean, as shallow and unoccupied as this bay, a listless wreck without identification. My rocks are these bones, and a careful fence to keep the precipice at bay. Shot through me caves, my forehead a mount. This aerial will transmit into me so. All overexposed, the nervous system, where Donnelly's boots and yours and mine still trample. I will carry a torch for you. I will leave it at the foot of my headstone. You will need it for the tunnels that carry me under.
So dramatic. Yeah, I was thinking about it because it's in the game Escape from Tarkov as a crafting item, but it's WD-100. And I was thinking about it, and I looked it up, and I was curious to know like how long it had been around and stuff. Actually, they developed it in the 50s originally, I believe, and mass-produced in like the 60s and everything. It was, yeah, it was the 40th try, exactly. It was water displacer, 40th attempt. And, but they, apparently they manufacture it in 4 different places, the primary, in different countries as well. And then they send those ingredients to another factory to put it all together. Apparently Wired magazine did a what do you call it, like a chromographic spectrum analysis or some shit like that, and found it to be primarily 2 things. Not alkaloid, it was really weird. It was a word very similar to alkaloid, alkalid or something like that, and mineral oil. It reminds you of Amnesia. One of these days I'll finish those games. I don't know. I own like almost the whole catalog, and I tried to stream them on Freaky Friday, and I was just like, this is not ideal. Because you can get really stuck on the puzzle parts of it. So like using a walkthrough would make it a lot easier, I would think. Oh, we can't get across. We're stuck. Are we gonna drown? Swim. I'm just gonna wait around the island. What's could be? Uh-oh. It's a drowning simulator. It does make sense that it's mineral oil. Like, of course. Uh-oh. There we go. I thought it was interesting though that they never patented it though, to keep it a secret, and apparently like the window of opportunity for requesting a patent has long since passed. Uh-oh, I'm pushing up.
Come back.
There we go. Oh, we drowned again. All right, let's not go that way anymore. At least not for now. It would be nice if a game would tell you, like there could be like a standardized system for telling you how intensive the secrets are. It's fish-based, fish-based. So that I would have some idea of like, how hard should I go looking for the secret areas? Like do I keep swimming around there and I reach an area that can only be reached by swimming? Or can I just progress naturally and find everything? Baby oil, Vaseline, and the goop inside. Homemade lava lamps, really. Alkanes, that's what it is. Hydrocarbons. Match the CH2 plus 2. Excellent. Thank you, Hard Hit. We learn so much every Friday through the world of gaming. You know, one of the other things, I don't know if I probably mentioned this last Friday, but I was mentioning it to some people at work this week. Again, like I've made that joke about like, you know, when the zombie apocalypse comes, or, you know, Armageddon, that the gamers will have the best chance of survival because we've been training for it all these years. Thank you, Google. Nice. They answer so many things.
The mount is clearly the focal point of this landscape. It almost appears so well placed as to be artificial. I find myself easily slipping into the delusional state of ascribing purpose, deliberate motive to everything here. Was this island formed during the moment of impact? When we were torn loose from our moorings and the seatbelts cut motorway lanes into our chests and shoulders, did it first break surface then?
I just had this thought, so I want to go back. There was another walkway that may have gone that direction. I should probably do it first. I was thinking it was connected to this one, but I think it might actually be a different one. Yeah, let's go this other way first and see what's over there. Oh, or not yet. I so wish I could sprint. So your friend was working for a kitchen remodel company. He was the #1 countertop salesman, but he quit because they were taking him for granted. Oh my God, I can't believe I read that whole thing. Oh, I appreciate... I'm not a pun hater. I appreciate the effort. And sometimes you laugh just because like I'm not laughing at the joke. I'm laughing because you thought that was funny, which he's been spending a lot of time in his next door neighbor's meth lab, and he's learned a lot. Goodness. All right, let's go. Oh my God, all the way back here. I feel like I saw a pathway that went up from this direction. You know, I can never remember those types, like the dad jokes. Like my dad would tell them all the time. So many times I'm like, oh yeah, I have heard that. My dad would tell them to me all the damn time. But I wish I could remember 1/10 of them. There's something up there. It's not like they're complicated. I'm always just like, oh yeah, I have heard that, but I couldn't have told you. I couldn't have told it to you. Alright, please let there be... I feel like there is a path right here. Yes. Which is if we were normal, this is probably the direction we would have gone first. We've uncovered a couple of extra messages already. Then he worked for an orange juice company, but they canned him because he couldn't concentrate. Well, I hope he collected unemployment. Did he file on him? That sounds like... Are you serious? Did it just end? Does not sound like appropriate terms for termination. Oh, we got up. But I think it just put us where we were. Didn't it?
Donnelly reported the legend of the hermit, a holy man who sought solitude in its most pure form. Allegedly, he rode here from the mainland in a boat without a bottom, so all the creatures of the sea could rise at night to converse with him. How disappointed he must have been with their chatter. Perhaps now, when all that haunts the ocean is the rubbish dumped from the tankers, he'd find more peace. They say he threw his arms wide in a valley on the south side, and the cliff opened up to provide him shelter. They say he died of fever 116 years later. The shepherds left gifts for him at the mouth of the cave, but Donnelly records they never claimed to have seen him. I have visited the cave and I have left my gifts, but like them, I appear to be an unworthy subject of his solitude.
Oh, here's the cave. Go to your corner. Or is that the cave? See that light flickering? What is that? It's like a candle in there. It's just kind of weirding out. It's glitching. It stopped. Huh. I couldn't go any further forward. Let me try one more time. Pretty sure. Yeah, we cannot go this way. Alright. You hear eyes rolling. You might be right. We're gonna fall. We're gonna fall to our death and get the other achievement right here. No. Here we go. Oh. And we live. Guess we're gonna have to try harder to kill ourselves than that. Ourself. Nightbot knows hard hit. It's uncanny. I like the wind effect. It's actually pretty good. It's got a lot of variation. That's what it's come to. I really like the wind in this game. Just checking the water. It's okay. Doesn't really look like water, but I like there's a lot of variety in the white water. The debris blowing around is so realistic.
When someone had died or was dying, or was so ill they gave up what little hope they could sacrifice, they cut parallel lines into the cliff, exposing the white chalk beneath. You could see them from the mainland or the fishing boats, and notice and aid, or impose a cordon of protection. and wait a generation until whatever pestilence stalked the cliff paths died along with its hosts. My lines are just for this, to keep any would-be rescuers at bay. The infection is not simply of the flesh.
Really, they would carve into the chalk like that as a beacon for help? Seems like a lot of work.
We are not like Lot's wife, you and I. We feel no particular need to turn back. There's nothing to be seen if we did. No tired old man parting the cliffs with his arms. No gifts or Bibles laid out on the sand for the taking. No tides turning or the shrieking gulls overhead. The bones of the hermit are no longer laid out for the taking. I have stolen them away to the guts of this island, where the passages all run to black, and where we can light each other's faces by their strange luminescence.
It is educational. We're getting edumacated. It looked like there might have been a way up here. Some fencing up there. But I'm being denied as I seek a path up. It's like an invisible barrier. Let me see if there's something over here, maybe. Remember, as I walked up, I thought, I wonder if I can go up that. Nope. Yet. None shall pass. Just admiring the clouds. Not too bad. I wonder how this compares to the original. I wonder if you could still get that as a free mod for Source. Which reminds me, I've got some other Source mods that I need to play, and some outright games that I think I even bought that were built on Source, like other Half-Life themed games. Like I think one is maybe it's called Black Mesa? I can't remember. Or it's something Black Mesa. Anyone else a big fan of Half-Life? That franchise made me the gamer that I am today, and the mods that were built on it.
Dear Esther, I met Paul. I made my own little pilgrimage. My Damascus, a small semi-detached on the outskirts of Wolverhampton. We drank coffee in his kitchen and tried to connect to one another. Although he knew I hadn't come in search of an apology, reason, or retribution, he still spiraled in panic, thrown high and lucid by his own dented bonnet. Responsibility had made him old. Like us, he'd already passed beyond any conceivable boundary of life.
Maybe Esther didn't die. Maybe she just left you because you're such a Debbie Downer, I swear. You greatly enjoyed it, but you're never a diehard? You played through it several times. Oh, you played through 2 several times. Yeah, I remember I played through 2 to get like the, you remember the achievement for launching the gnome? Did you do that? Where you had to carry that gnome through the entire game until you got to the point where you got to the rocket at the end, and you could put the gnome in the capsule and then launch the gnome. Have you ever watched Freeman's Mind? If you've never seen that and you liked Half-Life, you absolutely got to check that out. It's, at the very least, the first episode. Basically, this guy plays through the original game, but he's also using some of the cheats so that he can, like, no-clip and pretend to, like... Because remember, you couldn't, like, use ladders or something? I don't know. So there's things that he does that you actually can't really do in the game. Every now and then you see, like, a motion, and if you didn't know better, you wouldn't even realize it, but if you know the game, you're like, hey, you can't go up there. It's like he's thinking out loud of as Gordon Freeman. And the beginning, you know, remember that classic, the train ride in? It's so funny. That's like the best part of the whole thing, really. But yeah, I actually have it linked in my Steam profile, you know, up at the top where you can put some links. I actually have it linked there. It's really funny, especially, like I said, episode 1 is great. The rest are just okay. But the first one, when he's like riding the train into work that morning and then going about, basically it tells the story from when he rides in to when the shit hits the fan, when they have the disaster. And it's pretty funny, I think so. You're about to are you falling asleep, Gorma? One last joke. When did Archimedes get out of the bathtub? When his eureka moment became a urethra. Ba-doom-ba. Thank you. At least that was an intellectual dad joke. Gorma. There are 87 episodes. Holy crap. You've added to your watch later. Sweet. It's fun stuff. It's probably a good thing. I should actually add that to my list for, like, I've got my TV. I've got a smart TV in the bedroom that I'll, like, turn on something and fall asleep to it, and it turns itself off. That would actually be perfect. I'm sure I would fall asleep really quickly. But good night, Gorman. Thanks for dropping by. Take care. See you next time. I was hoping we could... Maybe we can swim? Should we go in there first? I want to check the backside of this over here. It's actually shallow. We're walking, I think, right now. Oh, not anymore. Oh, don't drown. Up! Up! I'm trying to press up, but I don't know if I am.
Come back.
No! Trying to tread water is difficult. Yeah. Let's not worry about it now, because actually it looks like maybe we can come down from above. Pika, pika. Ciao.
This hermit, this seer, this distant historian of bones and old bread, where did he vanish to? Why, asked the farmers. Why, asked Jakobsen. Why bother with your visions at all, if you're just to throw your arms up at the cliff and let it close in behind you and seal you into the belly of the island, a museum shut to all but the most devoted?
All right. I'm going to turn the subtitles off unless somebody wants them on. Does anyone want the subtitles on? Because I feel like it's exactly what Ricky said earlier, where you're like looking at it and not paying attention. Okay, so that's a neuron. It's a brain cell. There's alcohol again. So we got a neuron. We got alcohol. Is that a uterus? Like, what is that? I don't know why I thought that, but for some reason. What cells are these? A brain cell? But that's what the neuron is, right? So isn't that a brain cell? Or I guess a neuron wouldn't necessarily be a brain cell. Alright, so... Guess it's just a loop. I didn't miss anything, did I? It's a bird. I want to explore the backside of the lighthouse there too. No. For a split second, I thought we could go up. Wait, was our way... How did we get here? Did we actually... We came down from up there, didn't we? Because I was just thinking like, oh, it looks like maybe we could get up there, but I think that's actually where we came from.
He still maintains he wasn't drunk, but tired. I can't make the judgment or the distinction anymore. I was drunk when I landed here, and tired too. I walked up the cliff path in near darkness and camped in the bay where the trawler lies beached. It was only at dawn that I saw the bothy and decided to make my temporary lodgings there. I was expecting just the aerial and a transmitter stashed in a weatherproof box somewhere on the mount. It had an air of uneasy permanence to it. Like all the other buildings here, erosion seems to have evaded it completely.
Could you hear that okay over the music? Or should I put the subtitles back on? Chemistry. Someone fancies themselves a chemist. Oh my god, excuse me. Let's try to go this way. You can hear it clearly? Cool, thanks, Kadithi. With headphones it was fine? Alright, cool. Thank you. Can we get up here? Nope. Come on, you can do it. Damn invisible barriers. Alright. Guess we're going this way. So I was just thinking of something, you know, Cliffs of Dover. What is Dover? Anyone know? Uh-oh. Looks like maybe we can go down, but not back up. Donnelly, so we just ended a chapter.
Dear Esther, I have now driven the stretch of the M5 between Exeter and Bristol over 21 times. But although I have all the reports and all the witnesses, and have cross-referenced them within a millimetre using my Ordnance Survey maps, I simply cannot find the location. You'd think there would be marks to serve as some evidence. It's somewhere between the turn-off for Sanford and the welcome brake services, but although I can always see it in my rear-view mirror, I have as yet been unable to pull ashore.
Wait, what are we looking for? Nope. It almost lets us go back. Dover is a port town in England. Okay. So, but I thought Cliffs of Dover was Ireland. Named after the Strait of Dover? Huh. I have a suspicion that we missed some stuff that sucks that I didn't go the other direct. There were those two other, like, pathways, and it would seem as though we may have missed some stuff. I don't know. I thought that it was like the big, you know, the white cliffs of Dover. Like, are those really high cliffs in Ireland? Which reminds me of something really neat. Have you ever seen that they've actually matched that there is an area along the coast, I think in New York State or New Jersey, or maybe a little bit of both, but maybe no, it's New Jersey, where you can see the matchup where there's really ancient cliffs on the Atlantic, on the eastern seaboard there, in the US somewhere around the tri-state area, that totally match up to like Ireland, and you can see where like the British Isles and we're all connected to that as before they pulled apart as the mid-Atlantic oceanic rift spread. So it still grows like it's less than a foot, I think, a year, but like several inches a year, the Atlantic is still spreading. The name derives from the River Dower that runs through it. Okay. So is Cliffs of Dover Irish, right?
I had kidney stones and you visited me in the hospital.
Or am I mistaken about that? Is Cliffs of Dover's actually
anesthetic? Your outline and your speech
England.
both blurred. Now my stones have grown into an island and made their escape, and you have been rendered opaque by the car of a drunk.
Guess we'll go this way before we go that way or something. I don't know. I have no idea. We're just wandering. It's the same as your fingernails grow. Wow, that's actually kind of fast, really. I mean, you think about it. It's Kent, England. Oh, okay. Again, we're learning so much. Alright, seems to go up that way. We'll go this way. Little buoy out there. Alright, if the game's not going to give us a sprint, they could have at least given an auto walk.
There must be a hole in the bottom of the boat. How else could new hermits have arrived?
What is this? Is that an engineering or science symbol of some sort? I don't recognize it. It almost makes you think of like some of the schematic ways in which you would see like electrical systems and stuff drawn, but not really. Oh look, there's a boat at the top, and then two arrows pointing to the left and an arrow pointing underneath. And he said something about there being a hole. There must be a hole in the bottom of the boat? What? I think I'm reading too much into this. There's a great mystery we must solve. Wait, what does that say? Neither did he. There's a word in front of it, but then I see it says, neither did he eat nor drink. So eat. So imagine that they squeezing in some Gaelic. What is that first word? It starts with the letter A. A-N. And neither did he eat nor drink. Eat. Is this supposed to be an A, or is that... It looks like an H, like et. Is that another way to say eat? You said the game wants your mind to ponder. Interesting. So yes, perhaps by the end it'll make sense. So like the hermit was fasting. Or is that like talking about Jesus? There was a Bible and that chemistry book up there. Probably meant to be a biblical reference. And that these hermits that come here are somehow like, you know, like monks. They're probably all running from something. They've probably all done something horrible. Abused a woman or a child. And they run from it and become a hermit. I wasn't expecting that. All right, a car seat. Interesting. All right, we already went down there. I don't think we could go any further than we did. I want to say the achievement for getting all of the audio narrations was something like 30 something.
All night the boy has kept me lucid. I sat when I was at the very edge of despair, when I thought I would never unlock the secret of the island. I sat at the edge and I watched the idiot boy blink through the night. He's mute and he's retarded and he has no thought in his metal head but to blink each wave and each minute aside until the morning comes and renders him blind as well as deaf-mute. In many ways, we have much in common.
Sounded like he was saying boy. I was like, wait, no. He's saying buoy. Just not the way I say it. Oh, yeah, he is a ray of sunshine, isn't he? Idiot buoy. You also heard boy? Yeah. So I was like, wow. Oh wait, he's being metaphorical. Ah, the solitude. I imagine you get to the point like where you think like there's nothing going on, this would be so boring. You're like, what do you mean it's boring? Listen to the wind. Oh, you hear that bird? Ah, oh, the waves. What do you mean there's nothing happening? There's nothing to do. Listen to the wind in its many voices. It's making me think of last week when we didn't have power and I was I had like no time to be bored. No electricity, no internet, no TV, no light to even read. And I never got bored because I was like tending to the fire the whole time pretty much. Or foraging for wood or just surviving. Why can't I go up here? What the hell? Oh, this is where we came down, isn't it? Shit. Alright, fuck. How do we get out of here? I gotta get out of here. Apparently I missed something. This sucks, so we gotta walk all the way back? No. What did I miss? Which direction could we have gone? It seemed like we hit a dead end in both directions. God damn it. Ugh. Now we gotta crawl back. Wait a second. We can go up there. Didn't I say like, oh, I thought I came from there? And I didn't, and I stopped trying to go that way. I think I'm an idiot. I think that's actually where we came from. We need to go up there, I think. Some people ask what people did for fun back in the early days of history. Just the answer is survived, exactly. You had no time to be bored. And when the sun went down, you went to sleep. So I'm a total night owl, and I imagine a bunch of you are as well, since you frequent this stream. But could you imagine what it must have been like being a night owl before electricity and the light bulb? That was actually something that crossed my mind during the power outage. Alright, hopefully this is the direction we need to go here. Because I guess, I bet you could, you could fire up some candles and read if it was, the 1800s, and there was actually, where common people could gain access to something to read. Write in your journal. Tell stories. Alright, yeah, this is new, I think. Right? It's gotta be. Let's go over there first, though, if we can. You wonder if people really were. You got to think that some people had to be, and there a lot of them were probably people, you know, who became some of the authors, the early, like, you know, sort of horror and fantasy and surreal authors. Like, I imagine Edgar Allan Poe
saw through his windscreen. Not Lot's wife looking over her shoulder, but a scar in the hillside, falling away to black forever.
Like, I imagine people like Edgar Allan Poe and Emily Dickinson, you know, the Enlightenment writers as well. You know, I would wager all those early authors were night owls. I bet that's what you did. You would write by candlelight, I bet. H.P. Lovecraft, although you start getting to the point of, like, would that have been like gaslight at that point, I guess, in some places? Like in London? Like, when did people start getting gaslight in their homes? Doesn't that seem like horribly unhealthy? Right, so did we... Yeah, we didn't... This is a new path. Like, I bet Ben Franklin was a night owl. So that would be interesting thing is, like, who was the first? He said gas was far from cheap. I haven't gotten it. Oh, would that be a good... Let me see if I can fall to my death there. You're right, Kadithi. So... Wait, is it... Oh, this is where we walked up, isn't it? But it seemed like we were up higher. No, this has got to be where we came from. It felt like we were higher above that pit. Wait, can we go down here? It was a convenient hole. Oh, let's see. It felt like it wasn't going to let me go any further, but maybe I can fall over right here. Because there's a fence on that side. There's no fence right here.
Come back.
I was about to say, where's my achievement? Stack an Ammon? Alright, so what does that mean? That's our next educational moment. Was it S-T-A-C Un? Was it U-N and then A-M-I-N? Yeah, we can't do it over here. We actually had to go over there to do it. Oh, we could do it right here. Yeah, I think it's going to let us do it right here. Gaslighting was developed in the 1790s. Really, that early? By 1816, it was adopted in streetlights and home lighting. Yeah, I wonder how, what that did to life expectancy.
I've begun my ascent on the green slope of the western side. I've looked deep into the mountain from the shaft and understood that I must go up and then find the way under.
Up and
I will
away.
stash the last vestiges of my civilization in the stone walls and work deeper from there. I'm drawn by the aerial and the cliff edge. There is some form of rebirth waiting for me there.
Oh, this seems really old. You gotta think that humans have been living, and hominids have been living in the British Isles for thousands of years. Not that these are thousands of years old, but you get my point. Like, how old is this stuff before the characters of the story?
The bothy was constructed originally in the early 1700s. By then, shepherding had formalized into a career. The first habitual shepherd was a man called Jakobsen, from a lineage of migratory Scandinavians. He was not considered a man of breeding by the mainlanders. He came here every summer whilst building the bothy, hoping eventually that becoming a man of property would secure him a wife and a lineage. Donnelly records that it did not work. He caught some disease from his malcontented goats and died 2 years after completing it.
What?
There's no one to carve white lines into the cliff for him, either.
This seems like, you know, an obvious pathway, but all these other walls, I guess, are they just erosion control? Or the remnants of goat pens or something? Like, what do you think the purpose would be for all of these walls that are seemingly following weird angles? Because they don't really seem like, what do you call that, step? Not gardening or tiers of farming, but you see that especially in like Asia, where they cut steps in. And so you flood, and then it floods below and below and below. But oh yeah, so Stack on Armagh, based on the proper Scottish Gaelic spelling, is a sea stack in the St. Kilda archipelago. It's 196 meters tall, qualifying it as a Marilyn. Is the highest sea stack in Scotland in the British Isles. So big sea rock. Terrace farming, yes, Kadithi, that's the word I was looking for. Thank you for the term. Yeah, so do you think this is some sort of like terrace goat herding? Like what is all this? And what disease did he catch from his goats? Like, oh, we got... Alright, what is this? Alright. Some of this looks very similar to the thing we saw at the end there by the boats. I have no idea what this is. So now it's making me want the creator commentary so he can actually explain these things. Looks like a battle plan. But who knows what this is for? Yeah, it seems kind of, I don't know, almost random. I'm sure there's a logic to it. Like just maybe even just erosion control, because there's that house down there, so when it would rain you would think, like, which it would probably rain a lot, the water would just flow right down this really bad, so maybe that helps break it up and trap it, and then the goats can drink it.
Inventory. A trestle table we spread wallpaper on in our first home. A folding chair. I laughed at you for bringing camping in the lakes. I was uncomfortable.
There was some form
later
of
and you
terrace
laughed
farming,
then.
actually.
This diary, the bed with the broken springs. Once asleep, you have to remember not to dream. A change of clothes, Donnelly's book, stolen from Edinburgh Library on the way here. I will burn them all on the last morning and make an aerial of my own.
It's just a shirt hanging up there. I think it's dry. Jesus Christ, scared the crap out of me. Almost. This also looks like a good place to fall to your death. Alright, do we go down? Can we get up? I feel like we're missing something, but I really don't want to backtrack all the way to find out. A cave? Looks like a cave there.
Jakobsen's ribcage, they told Donnelly, was deformed, the result of some birth defect or perhaps a traumatic injury as a child. Brittle and overblown it was, and desperately light. Perhaps it was this that finally did for him, unable to contain the shattering of his heart. In half-light, his skeleton a discarded prop, a false and calcified seabird.
His ribcage was too fragile to contain his broken heart.
They found Jakobsen in early spring. The thaw had only just come. Even though he'd been dead nearly 7 months, his body had been frozen right down to the nerves and had not even begun to decompose. He'd struggled halfway down the cliff path, perhaps looking for some lost goat, or perhaps in a delirium, and expired, curled into a claw right under the winter moon. Even the animals shunned his corpse. The mainlanders thought to bring it home unlucky. Donnelly claims they dragged it to the caves to thaw out and rot.
His ashes.
He is proving an unreliable witness.
An urn. That reminds me, I think actually there was an achievement for finding all of the urns. I forgot about that. So we found one, I guess. Wonder how many we've already missed.
Climbing down to the caves, I slipped and fell and have injured my leg. I think the femur is broken. It is clearly infected. The skin has turned a bright, tight pink, and the pain is crashing in on waves, winter tides against my shoreline, drowning out the ache of my stones. I struggled back to the bothy to rest, but it has become clear that there is only one way this is likely to end. The medical supplies I looted from the trawler have suddenly found their purpose. They will keep me lucid for my final ascent.
The music or the audio that was playing in the background was kind of, I don't know if it was garbled on purpose. It sounded as eerie. Alright, what's over here? Where are we going there? Oh, you know what? I wonder if I have to zoom in like that to get credit for finding something. It's that same shirt that was hanging up. Twice. I hope I don't have to actually do that. Like that urn? Like, did I have to do that to get credit for it? Hopefully not. It did trigger like an animation when we got close to it, like some ash came out of it and blew in the wind, so I would assume that means you found it. Cool. Oh shit. Guess that was the end of chapter 2.
Donnelly did not pass through the caves. From here on in, his guidance, unreliable as it is gone from me. I understand now that it is between the two of us, and whatever correspondence can be drawn from the wet rocks.
All right, this way we go. You're walking pretty well to be such a way, yeah. And how far did we just fall, too? Like, cool.
I first saw him sat by the side of the road. I was waiting for you to be cut out of the wreckage. The car looked like it had been dropped from a great height. The guts of the engine spilled over the tarmac, like water underground.
Yeah, that totally looks like an electrical diagram. Circuitry. Neurons. Yeah, some of those that's like some are like amps and capacitors. Like I've seen these in audio books, like when I was taking audio productions. I can't remember what the symbols mean. There's like standardized symbols for certain things. It's like a cathedral to science and nature. cool. Guess we're going for a swim. You can actually see the top this time. In the ocean, you get that weird effect where you can't really see. Some cool eye candy throughout this part. So I guess this is seawater coming in. This is quite a cave system. Do we go down again? There's something down there. Let's look over here first. This feels like a path out. I want to see what happens if we drop down. The heck? It was weird. When I stopped moving, it's like I sunk. I guess I slid backwards. Alright, hold on, let's go down here. Oh my god, look how fast we're moving when we go downhill. It's practically a running simulator now. How are these mushrooms going to grow in all of this salt? It seems though there'd be like a lot of salt vapor through here. And the mineral from all of this stone. Probably not conducive to mushrooms, I would think. Alright, here we go. My legs are being dripping some cave water. What could possibly go wrong? Although maybe the water in this cave would actually be good. Man of the Rocks. What does that mean? We just got an achievement. Man of the Rocks. So what is that opening? Is that where we originally came from? Did we come out of that? How did we get here? must have already passed it. I wonder exactly how I got in here. It's nothing. It's decent looking. Yeah, it does look cool. The show. I'm cool in that opening. It's very much a walking simulator, that is for sure. Defining the genre. I think my favorite walking sim that I've probably ever played would have to be What Remains of Edith Finch.
I am traveling through my own body, following the line of infection from the shattered femur towards the heart. I swallow fistfuls of painkillers to stay lucid. In my delirium, I see the twin lights of the moon and the Ariel shining to me through the rocks.
Wow, this is cool. Which way should we go? Guess we'll follow the water, but I'm going to go upstream first. It's probably the thing to do. Hey, Val. That is a good one. You think you watched me? It's very possible. I actually recently was thinking about playing it again. There's a few games that I've had that thought of, like, oh, it's like, man, maybe I should stream them again. Just think about, like, how long ago I started doing this. Like, and so some of those games were, like, so long ago. And that they would maybe be worth playing again, even. You've heard good things about it. It's a really cool story. And it's really neat. The thing I liked about it that I couldn't probably stop talking about when I was playing it, annoying people, is ever since I was a little kid, I've had a fascination with the idea of secret hidden areas and houses, like hidden passageways and hidden rooms and stuff. And that's the really super cool thing about that game. There's a really interesting storyline playing out in it as you're learning the tragic history of this family. But the house was built in pieces for each person, and so each section of the house is very, unique and indicative of the person who lived in it. And through time, as parts were added to the house. It's really neat, just the architectural element of the game. You too? Cool. Yeah, it is. It's definitely the, gets the imagination going. You ever see that TV series? I think it was on the History Channel, if not one of those other edutainment channels. Cities of the Underworld, is that what it was called? Now that I'm talking about it, I'm forgetting what it was called. I think that's what it was called. But it was where they would find all kinds of, like, underground areas all throughout the world. Some of that stuff was, like, so cool. Yeah, it was one of the neatest ones that I remember seeing was where I think they were in Jordan, and They were in an apartment building, basically, but it was built up against the cliffs of this ancient ruin. And there were places for people where people in certain units were part of their wall was the wall of this area, and they let him go in, and he was peeking into these areas where there was like stone, and that was like pretty amazing. That makes me think of, there's a British show. God, what was that? You're a kid running around imagining falling into an ancient crypt. Yeah, that would be cool. Like Indiana Jones finding the lost temple of David. Is that what it was? That was it? No, not David. I can't even remember now. But there is a long-running archaeology television series in the UK that I believe is still on to this day, decades later. And they just rotate people through it over time. But where they go around, and so basically viewers will write in and say like, hey, there's this great ancient area in my town, come look at it. And they've actually found some important historical stuff and then had to turn it over. But so it's a team of different people of different backgrounds, from archaeologists, anthropologists, TV presenter, you know, just like a whole myriad of this team of everyone, the different specialties that they could bring into play. And they show up and they just do them for like a weekend, usually. Like they're very short digs, and so they'll give you some history of the area and then go and do some digging and exploring around. And one of those episodes that I found really interesting was kind of similar to the story I was just telling, where they were in this old village and they were trying to piece together old, like they were trying to find a site, and they were looking at like several 100-year-old like town drawings showing plots, and they're like, okay, there should have been a property line along this. And as they're trying to like do their detective work to find this area to dig, they were like, somebody told us that there are some old timbers in this house, and they got the person to let them in, and some of the existing timbers within their home were many hundreds of years old. And you could tell just by looking at it, because you know how like you touch it a lot and it gets that oil that preserves it, and it's all kind of just looks like an old rotting timber, but it's been preserved. Like that's what they were showing, is where like these old these structures have incorporated, you know, ancient buildings into their structures, which is really neat. It's the only way we can go, I think. Alright, we didn't come down this, did we? I don't think so. There's a creepy new suspense movie where Dennis Quaid sells his house but stays around in the hidden basement. That movie just made me want to buy an old Victorian house. I haven't heard of that. Huh. Is it supposed to be any good? Sounds creepy. So what do they call it? It's got to be some sort of bad pun. But something
I will
included.
hold the hand you offered to me, from the summit down to this well, into the dark waters where the small flowers creep for the sun. Headlights are reflected in your retinas, moonlit in the shadow of the crematorium chimney.
So macabre. Behold, Damascus is taken. Excuse me. Wow, he really went mental. Oh my god, in this tunnel. Not great, but better than you expected. Oh really? So you saw it? That would be crazy to like live in a place like that, ancient. That was like in, oh my god, I'm totally blanking. Shit. what's the small town in England where like their football team won the Premier League a few years back? Actually, it's probably been at least 5 years now. It's where they found King Edward II, I think it was, in a parking lot. Like they were doing something where they were like digging up an old parking lot that was next to a church. And they found like the body of King Edward II. I'm totally blanking. What the hell was that town? But yeah, it's crazy to be like in a place like that old that you could just be, I mean, and look at what it happens in Egypt all the time. They'll be like laying a new road in Cairo, only to have to stop construction because they've discovered something. Like in lots of places where they would bury stuff, like as time would pass, you would attempt to erase the history of previous governments and time periods and shit, and they would just bury things all the time, or in some cases bury them for protection to hide them, which is what I think they said they thought happened to the King Edward body, that they had like buried it after the battle that he had died in, and that they did a quick burial in the church grounds to prevent his body from being taken. And so who knows what kind of like crazy random things like that lie buried in places. Richard III in Leicester, that's right, thank you. That was close. What did I say, Edward II? Richard III. Yeah, and I believe, yeah, like, so I was just saying that it was just a rushed burial to protect his body, and then it went undiscovered for hundreds of years. That was close. I had a name and a number. So that was King Richard the Lionhearted, right? Isn't that Richard III, the Lionhearted? Yeah, practically the second. Unless you're watching I feel like I've seen a Shakespearean, I don't think it was actually Shakespeare, but it was like a Shakespearean film, Edward II, but it was like completely bizarre. Same difference. Yeah, so, and there's something significant about that battle. Like, I'm trying to remember what the battle was. Battle of Hastings? Is that what it is? Since we're all going through all this history, so did Richard III die in the Battle of Hastings? Is that what it was? And that was near Leicester? Hey, Seven, how you doing, buddy? It's good to see you. It usually is a name in a Roman numeral. Right, I was... Lucky guess. Wait, so which way did I just come out of the water? I came out of the water, didn't I? It's easy to get turned around in here. You been lurking, Cole? Good to see ya. How you been being? Am I going? I don't. Hopefully, I'm not going backwards. I'm not sure. You just had to say hi. Well, I appreciate it. Good to see you, my friend. Wait, we just came through this way, didn't we? That's where he went crazy with all that shit. Right? It's gotta be. I get sidetracked, too much yapping. Can't complain, but it could be better. I'm sorry to hear that. Hopefully it will be better. Things have got to get better for all of us. Well, I don't know if they have to, but we can hope. Hold your breath. Richard the First was Lionheart. Okay, Richard the Third died to a rebellion? One that he lost, obviously. Yeah, apparently so. Okay, cool. But Richard the First was the Lionheart. So who died in the Battle of Hastings? Did Richard the Third die? Is that what the Battle of Hastings was? Was that a rebellion? I forget, there's something like super significant about the Battle of Hastings. Oh, here we go. What do we got? Henry Tudor and his uncle Jasper. Seriously, Jasper Tudor? That you made that up. Landed in southern Wales with a contingent of French troops and marched through Pembrokeshire, recruiting soldiers. Henry's forces defeated Richard's army near the Leicestershire, at the time, I guess, town of Market Bosworth. Richard was slain, making him the last... That's right, he was the last English king to die in battle. Okay. Interesting. Alright, so to satiate my curiosity, what was the Battle of Hastings? What is that about? I think we can go around and stop falling. Or not. We're going down. At the end of the chapter. No? What the hell? Oh. It's like we're underwater, but we're not. What's that? Battle of Hastings was fought 14th of October 1066 between Norman French army of William, the Duke of Normandy, and an English army under the Anglo-Saxon King Harold Godwinson. Wow, so that's really, really way back there, beginning the Norman conquest of England. King Harold apparently died during the battle. Wow, so that was way, 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 way back. So when was when did Richard the Third die? So when was that battle? When he was the last king to die in battle. How long ago was that? Thanks for looking all this stuff up. 1485. Okay, that was still quite a long time ago. The more you know. Wow, so that his body had lain undiscovered for... Because what, they found it like... I think less than 10 years ago. Because it was like a really big coincidence that they had found it and laid it in rest and like did some stuff so you could view it, and all of that happened the same year that Leicester won the premiership. So I would assume that it had only been maybe a couple of years, I think, since they had found it, if even that, like a year or two maybe. So that's crazy. So like 600 years. Oh, it was 2012 they found him. All right. So yeah, that's weird. So 550-ish almost. It's a long time. Come on, you can do it. It's like we're going really slow. And I just keep pressing sprint, even though shift, even though it does nothing. Like, please. Esther. Are we finally gonna learn something about Esther? Our dear, dear Esther. Esther. Where's this Esther? That looks really cool. So what that left or right? Oh, there's a candle. Let's go left. It wants us to go right, so we're gonna go left. It feels like it was yesterday, right?
I sat here and watched two jets carve parallel white lines into the sky. They charted their course of transcendence. I would tear the bottom from my boat and sail across the motorways until I reached this island once again.
That's got to be like a really basic thing. I wonder what that is. Do you know, Seven? I know you do shit like that. What is that? Do you have any idea what that's a schematic of? I guess you would call it. Would they call that a schematic? You did circuitry stuff. I've watched you do it. You have any idea what that is? He already suffers delusions of transcendence. Yeah. Can't go any further. Can we still get up there from here? We might need to backtrack to go up there. It looks like a switch type of diagram. Yeah, there's been, that basic idea has been repeated. There's been quite a few things that have been repeated. There's things that look like that. There's the chemical diagram of ethanol, and something else that we don't know what it is. I think Shepard said looked like a battle diagram with like arrows and shit. What's going on here? Should be able to blow them out. There could be like an achievement for blowing out all the candles. Alright, looks like we might need to backtrack to go up. I'm gonna go up there, that pathway. I wonder if the soundtrack is in the original. Damn it. Thought I could shortcut it. I just want to cut across, man. I keep noticing the wind sounds. They're good. So what do you remember from the game? The wind? So what's up with all the candles?
Dear Esther, I find each step harder and heavier. I
She died in a
drag
car
Donnelly's
wreck?
corpse on my back across these rocks, and all I hear are his whispers of guilt, his reminders, his burnt letters, his neatly folded clothes. He tells me I was not drunk at all.
Shit, I missed. Who was that? What was that? Donnelly? Did you say the name? I was talking. Maybe we should put the subtitles back on. What we got here? A defibrillator? What the hell? Okay. That's very unexpected. I guess it runs on candle light. What's with all of this? What would be the purpose of all this wood? Unless maybe there was like a big deck over all of this? I'd be surprised if you'd put that much effort into something like that, because it wouldn't last very long. He says if it's a foreign idea. Yeah, I thought they ran on stardust. All right, so this is a new one. What is this? So I guess those are O's and N's? No, they're not, though. They're all like little half things with dots. In that one, they're on the end. Are those legitimate symbols, or is that crazy ravings of a lunatic? Or both? Broken. So, I'm beginning to think she died in a car wreck with someone else driving. Not us. Oh, how that's creepy. Before the music played. So this is his... These are the remnants from the vehicle? That's pretty mental. So it's beginning to make sense. So alcohol... Was it a radio? So like, we're going to get more of the story. These things are going to make sense, I think, as they give us little bits and pieces. Oh, the other driver claiming to be sober? Right. It may not have been her driver, but someone, the other driver. That makes sense.
Paul, by the roadside, by the exit for Damascus,
Paul.
all ticking and cooled, all feathers and remorse, all of these signals routed like traffic through the circuit diagrams of our guts, those badly written boats torn bottomless in the swells, washing us forever ashore.
Okay. Oh, look at he's carved into the chalk. What's it say? We're gonna have to go to the other end and come back. Alright, a light from heaven shone. I wasn't paying attention because I could have read it backwards, but shone around him. It's another verse from the Bible, isn't it? Talking about Jesus, I assume. Or is it even older? It's an Old Testament reference, maybe. We can go down here. See a little pathway here. So they actually had cars on this island? Why would you have a car on this tiny little island? Or maybe he brought those
From
car
here,
parts?
I can see my armada. I collected all the letters I'd ever meant to send to you, if I'd have ever made it to the mainland, but had instead collected at the bottom of my rucksack, and I spread them out along the lost beach. Then I took each and every one, and I folded them into boats. I folded you into the creases, and then, as the sun was setting, I set the fleet to sail. Shattered into 21 pieces, I consigned you to the Atlantic, and I sat here until I'd watched all of you sink.
They didn't get very far. Still sitting here to this very day. Holy, look at that. Carved into the chalk. That was when he really went mental. Or are we only beginning to see the tip of the iceberg of his psychosis? Alright, guess we'll go this way and then go that way. On a sudden, a light from heaven shone around him, and he fell to the ground. Is that like Moses? That sounds like something like that. So it's not a burning bush, but I bet that be a good guess. Looks like there's something else written up there really long. Mental hopscotch. Guess we're going that way. I don't know if I'm suspicious about continuing this way, but I don't see anything. Nope. Come on, let me up, please. Please. Oh, almost. Come on. Alright, fine. No. No. Don't. There we go. Come on. Are you serious right now? There we go. It's so easy to drown in this game. Just circuit diagrams. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wonder what the significance is, though. I imagine we'll eventually find out. So I've been
I will drag
uploading.
my leg behind me.
Oh, God damn it!
I will drag it like a crumpled hatchback, tires blown and sparking across the dimming lights of my vision. I'm running out of painkillers and am following the flicker of the moon home. When Paul keeled over dead on the road to Damascus, they restarted his heart with the jump leads from a crumpled hatchback. It took 21 attempts to convince it to wake up.
Oh, okay. So is that the significance of what we saw down there? I don't know. That's weird. But so I've started uploading some old Freaky Fridays to YouTube that I had managed to save on Twitch by highlighting the episode. And there's quite a few, and I've been trying to do like one a day, but the whole winter storm kind of interrupted that a little bit, so I haven't done one every day. But I was just again thinking about like Edith, remembering or what happened, what remains of Edith Finch and other things, and how I wish I had saved them. So some of the ones that I have the fondest memory of, I might go back and replay them so as to preserve them. I don't know. But yeah, I wish I had even some of the one. Yeah, everything that I highlighted got saved, but there was periods where like you only get like, I've got Twitch Turbo, so I get like 3 months. I'm gonna start I have started being better about like now I'm going to try to preserve everything and upload it and edit a little bit off the beginnings and the ends. So if you're curious to see any of the old ones, there's some stuff on there.
I will fly to the moon in it. I've been folded along a creasing time, a weakness in the sheet of life. Now you've settled on the opposite side of the paper to me. I can see your traces in the ink that soaks through the fiber, the pulped vegetation. When we become waterlogged and the cage disintegrates, we will intermingle. When this paper aeroplane leaves the cliff edge and carves parallel vapor trails in the dark, we will come together.
So is this the one we saw from way down there? No. Whatever that is over there is what you can see that was really long. So, and as he was proceeding with a Y, proceeding on his journey. The end. Can you link? Yeah, I can actually. Let's see. So, Buddha DC is my name on there. Hold on a sec. Actually, I think you might be able to do it. Try !social. Because the game doesn't want to let me click out. It'll minimize if I do it. Yeah. So yeah, that should get you there. Thank you. So the idea, theoretically, I'm going to put one up a day. And there's something so weird that happened. It's not dirty word. So basically I happen to know, so the last video I posted was the finishing of Condemned, which is another weird, interesting game. That last game, or that I posted, most recently posted one, it was when I went back and finished it, so it's not the whole playthrough. But that game, Condemned, Criminal Origins, is still to this day banned in Germany, I believe. That was another one that was kind of interesting to go back and play it because it had some historical significance. That the game got banned because of perceived violence against homeless people, which doesn't make sense because they were like homeless people who like went crazed and became possessed and stuff and were attacking the main character. It wasn't like random violence against homeless people, but apparently it allegedly ran afoul of some law of like in Germany against like senseless violence. Which is whoa, it's like it's trying to vacuum me off the side there. But so I posted it, and almost immediately, like I noticed there was a view. I was like, oh, cool, somebody watched it. And then I noticed I get like little alerts, and it was like so and so left it was like a Russian name, left a comment. I was like, oh, that's interesting. I wonder what they said. And I click on it, and it actually in the thing said what their comment was, and it had like a number, almost like how you would have like a biblical like chapter and verse number. And I can't remember the words that were after it, but but there was no comment actually there. I was like, huh, that's weird. Did it get deleted? And so then I Googled what that was, and so I maybe I can see it. Hold on a sec, because watch out for these, because apparently they are viruses. And apparently, so then I Googled it, and somebody's been posting a lot of them on YouTube. Yeah, and so let me see if I can see what this is real quick. It had a weird file format, and I would have known better than to just click on it. I would have searched it. VOM, so VOM.GEN.IN. VOMGEN. And apparently there's been a whole rash of these, and they are supposedly links that will like steal your IP address or some shit. I forget what it said. You get wait, is that like QAnon? What is that, bots? I'm actually going to start, I deleted two before I started tonight. Those like, I don't normally care about the chat bots. I just feel like whatever, they don't matter. But I'm actually going to just start removing them. I actually found a website that maintains a list that they regularly update of Twitch view bots. So I'm going to just start removing them. Oh, relates to Q with a P. Oh, really? Yeah, I don't think there's very little word moderating in my chat. I deal with it myself. But there's a few words in there that I'm pretty sure the N word and a few of its variants are I have in there. But I don't use I don't really use the Twitch mod. So what is this? Because it was just constantly, like, I think even Seven Hero was using it. I think it was him, where I was joking about, like, you couldn't say Nazi. I think I got bleeped for saying something that was like totally benign, and I was like, the Twitch mod or whatever, I was like, the chat mod is a Nazi, and that got me timed out. Like, you couldn't say Nazi either. Yeah, I don't have a profanity filter, but I do have like some pejorative filters, like the F word. Not fuck. You can say fuck all you want. It might have been you. I think it might have been. So we got purged for saying piss. Yeah, I don't have. You can't say the pejorative for a gay person. You can't say the pejorative for black people. You know, some common things like that. Some common sense things that you just don't want people to say. But otherwise, profanity. It's an 18 and over channel, so you can swear all you want. You know, I might have added... Someone tried to say Trump. I might have actually put Trump in there, too. I can't remember. I think the thought crossed my mind. Because I just didn't want politics in the chat. I didn't want anybody... I didn't care what your political spectrum, where you were on the spectrum. I just didn't want to have that fucking name in my chat. Oh, you can't say it. Okay. I think I toyed with the idea of adding that. did he... Oh my god, this goes two directions.
If only Donnelly had experienced this, he would have realized he was his own shoreline, as am I. Just as I am becoming this island, so he became his syphilis, retreating into the burning synapses, the stones, the infection.
The syphilis. You got it from the goats. That would be a good one to block. Have you ever been in a chat with somebody, or in someone's channel where they have banned Kappa? Can you believe that? There's someone I used to be subscribed to who did that, and I was just like, are you serious? Like, are you that defensive? Like, you can't handle Kappa? And he was 3 days without the water? No. Sight. What is that? I don't recognize that. Alright, what did it say down this side? And neither did he eat nor drink. Alright, we've already seen that one. You know, another one that I toyed with putting in, which 7, you'll totally... Oh, you can never decide whether I should truncate your name as 7 or Hero. How about Hero? Which would you prefer? As long as I've known you, I should have asked before now. 7 Hero is one of the few people from chat that I've ever actually met in real life. We hung out at TwitchCon a couple years ago. Back in the day! Either? Okay. But remember how I said how I don't like I don't even know what the actual text is for the emote, but the one where the guy's pulling his hair out. Remember how I said like how I hate that emote, which started our whole Pikachu thing? Whatever the main word was in that, like I started to do it. Like I think I even did it. I put it in to block it, and I was like, that is so petty. What are you doing? And I undid it. But I totally like blocked that emote at one point for like a minute. No, not that one. The other one. So that's like he's like palming. There's the one where they're like pulling their hair out, like they have 2 hands on top of their head. What's that one? Or is the one you just did is Failfish? I take it, right? I don't have to. The game is going to minimize if I
Returning to my car afterwards.
try to
Hands
look
still
at
shaking.
it with my
My head
mouse.
split open by the impact. Goodbye
That
to
one, yeah. What is that one
aunts
called?
and traumatized uncles. Goodbye to the phenomenal. Goodbye to the tangible.
Goodbye.
Goodbye Wolverhampton. Goodbye Sanford. Goodbye Cromer. Goodbye Damascus. This cliff path is slippery in the dew. It is hard to climb with such an infection. I must carve out the bad flesh and sling it from the aerial. I must become infused with the very air.
It's getting dramatic. So that was called Not Like This. Okay. I never knew what that was called. You know, maybe it was Failfish then, which is weird because it seems like it would have been that one. But maybe it was, because fail seems like the word, like maybe I had like blocked the word fail. And then I was like, no, because Not Like This doesn't make sense. I think I tried to block Failfish maybe. It was just like, why did I? That's petty. Why am I letting this bother me so much? Yes, Pika Pika. And then and that's when that meme was born between 7 Hero and I. You think it was Failfish? Okay, that makes more sense. Because it's one of those things that would like get me, because like it would always be used when I was like already in like, I'm like, I'm my toughest critic, right? And so if you're already like feeling like an idiot, and then chat is like doing like Failfish and Not Like This, you're just like, it's I think until you're in that situation, it may be harder to understand. But I guess both of y'all have streamed, so it's like you understand that like sometimes you aren't like in the best mental state. I guess when you're streaming and things aren't going well, you're like kicking yourself. I've tried to be less sensitive over time. I still have many shortcomings, but I feel like streaming has helped me work on. Oh shit, we're about to fall over the cliff. That would have been a perfect place to accidentally get that. Like backseating, for instance. Like, it can still get on my nerves sometimes, even though I invite it on Fridays by even saying backseating aloud. But it's one of those things that I've let get to me in the past that I've not been happy with myself for allowing it to bother me. And it's one of those things that's just that streaming has helped with, I guess. You haven't been kicked while down yet? Your chat just says you're devolving. That's funny. So you shouldn't tell me. Yeah, don't tell me what to do. Actually, backseating is allowed, so you can feel free. Which is actually a funny thing about along those lines. How, like, even though I can let backseating get to me a little bit at times, again, like when you're kind of kicking yourself because you're feeling stupid, or and people are telling you, that's when it probably bugs me the most, is when either you're getting bad advice or people are telling you what to do when you already know what to do. But it's like I really, really try to consciously not care. Lol. He didn't even look at the lamp. Wait, and look at that lamp. Oh, I didn't. I'm sorry. What lamp did I miss? This one? Sorry. All right, are you happy, chat? Have you ever thought, my chat is so small that I'm always referring to people individually. I would love to get to the point where you can address chat collectively. It would seem so much easier sometimes. I swear, sometimes watching streamers, I'm like, you're getting off easy by being able to speak to chat collectively rather than as individuals. Where you can say, all right, chat, what do you think? And then 100 things fly at you. And you selectively acknowledge them. Damn it, you can't read this, we're too close. Man, this is sketchy as hell. Alright, hold on, so I'm missing this. This is the big long one. Let's see if we can read it. So if they're getting, yeah, it's crazy how good some people are. Like, they speed read their chat. Like, they're amazing. I can't read it. Wait, maybe can we read from down here? And it came to pass that as I made me journey, and and with something, and with some snacks and juice boxes. Danger. Oh wow, they've even got is there, it's like the radio transmitter. Oh, maybe that's what that that diagram is. It's for the radio transmitter. Did you hear that creak? Made me journey and was some Night. Persuasive. I don't know. I have no idea. Whoa, I nearly fell off. See, this is where you could organically get that achievement. You can easily fucking fall off of this. Noon. The end. That made perfect sense. It would definitely change the stream. You know, and I've seen, you know, of course, you see big streamers will talk about how they missed the day when they could actually talk to chat as individuals. So it's, you know, the grass is always greener, right?
He was not drunk, Esther. He was not drunk at all. He had not drunk with Donnelly or spat Jakobsen back at the sea. He had not careered across the lost shores and terminal beaches of this nascent archipelago. He did not intend his bonnet to be crumpled like a spent tissue by the impact. His windscreen was not star-studded all over like a map of the heavens. His paintwork etched with circuit diagrams, strange fish to call the gulls away. The phosphorescence of the skid marks lighting the M5 all the way from Exeter to Damascus.
Nope, not at all. Completely unintended. With me, with were that. Were with me. God, could you imagine the people? How many people died making this these stairs? And the wind. Just when I thought the wind couldn't be more memorable. Damascus. Are we nearing the end of our journey? How many messages did we miss? Quite a few, I imagine.
We will leave twin vapor trails in the air. White lines etched into these rocks.
Senchedith. What was that one? Alright, so what did that mean? It was S-E-A-N. Like C-H-D-I-T-H or something weird. What did I... Like Shondith.
Dear Esther, I have burnt my belongings, my books, this death certificate. Mine will be written all across this island. Who was Jakobsen? Who remembers him? Donnelly has written of him, but who was Donnelly? Who remembers him? I have painted,
I have no
carved,
idea.
him, scored into this space all that I could draw from him. There will be another to these shores to remember me. I will rise from the ocean like an island without bottom, come together like a stone, become an aerial, a beacon that they will not forget you. We've always been drawn here. One day the gulls will return and nest in our bones and our history. I will look to my left and see Esther Donnelly flying beside me. I will look to my right and see Paul Jakobsen flying beside me. They will leave white lines carved into the air to reach the mainland.
Oh no,
where
we're gonna jump off.
will be sent.
You can fly. It was nice of them to spare us the splat. When you play too much Assassin's Creed, right? Yeah, we could have just landed in a bed of flowers or in a pile of hay. I'm waiting for it to show me an area that we never went to, but so far everything, we went all the way down here. I'm pretty sure there was a couple of areas in the first chapter that we didn't explore. Remember, there were like 3 paths through the rocks, and I chose the right one, and it took us to the next chapter, so I think we missed some stuff there. The end, I guess? We only found 1 urn. God, there's quite a few things I think we didn't find. Paul. So I'm thoroughly confused. I have no idea. Actually, I don't have... I have some idea, I guess. She was killed in a car wreck. Excuse me, with Paul. Was it you, Paul Golding? Oh my God, excuse me, Bert. I'm drinking some coffee. So what are we going to play next? I was thinking we could pick one of these random free-to-play games that I have. Apparently that was it, Hero. Back when this was the... They didn't I was trying to decide how to put this. That it's such an old walking sim. The first walking sim, they didn't fully appreciate the need for a complete story. Yeah, I don't know if you were here when we were talking about it, or if you're already familiar with this, but apparently some people attribute this to being the first walking sim, and it was originally a free mod on Source, the Source engine, in 2008, and then in 2012 they made a standalone game, and then this was like a redo of it from 2017. Yeah, apparently it's like short. I made it a lot longer than it really is, apparently, but we didn't find everything. So, and then you can also replay it with like director's commentary. So that would be interesting for him to explain everything.